And welcome back to ANZ Stadium. As you can see, it has been pouring here and drizzling now pretty much all day long. Something like 40 millimetres of rain have been recorded here up until 5 o'clock today. The people have rugged up against the weather as best they can to celebrate the 30th birthday of this incredible event. An idea hatched between the leaders of the game in Queensland and New South Wales, the late Senator Ron McAuliffe and Kevin Humphreys. An idea that many doubted could work. An idea that was met with more pessimism than optimism. An idea that has blossomed to become one of the great occasions in Australian sport. Teams about to make their way out onto the Olympic Stadium. In the 87 games played, incredibly, there are just 27 points between the two states. 87 games, or around 116 hours, or around 7,000 minutes of intense rivalry in possibly the toughest game on the planet. And just 27 points separate them. So Darren Lockyer, in his 31st Origin appearance, and captain for the 17th time, leads the Maroons out to turn 4 into 5. They set the new figure at the end of last season, and now they go for a 5-peat, and here's the reception for the Queenslanders. Both states have had chances to make it 5 in a row. New South Wales between 90 and 97 had a few looks at it. Queensland between 87 and 91 went close. This year it's their turn again, as I said, to have a look, to have a shot at winning the series 5 in a row, and in so doing rewrite Origin history yet again. So the Blues behind to Kurt Gidley, they'll get a big roar. We've always placed great importance on being the winners of Game 1 in this thing we call State of Origin. 20 of the 28 series decided, or 71% of the time, the team winning Game 1 wins the series. But contradicting that somewhat, over the last 4 years of the Queensland domination, the Blues won the first game of 06 and 08, but then the juggernaut took over. We're getting close to the rendition of the national anthem now, as the under-8s from around junior clubs here in Sydney, who were bedecked in their little New South Wales jumpers, they clear the field, and the two sets of 17 stand and face the Western Grandstand here at ANZ. It was wet the first time we used it for Origin back in '99. Let's go to the anthem now, to be performed by Sam Moran from Sony Music.
Performed by Sony Music recording artist Sam Moran. Sam's debut album, Colour of Love, is in stores now.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts, our beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every state advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing and dance Australia
The Yellow Wiggle, Sam Moran from Sony Music, with a great rendition of the national anthem preceding the start of the new series here in Sydney tonight.
I like it when we got a good rendition to start. We got that tonight, Ravs. That gets us away in the right fashion. And Queensland, I think, they won the toss. And the one thing, if New South Wales learned anything from last year's series, it's the importance of this opening 20 minutes. 18 points in game 1 and 2 before they blinked an eye and the horse had bolted. And the Blues tonight need to be on the mark from the opening kick-off, because you can bet Queensland will be.
So 30 years have passed since Beetson and Raudonikis led their sides into battle to ignite this marvellous and iconic Australian sports spectacle that we call mate against mate and state against state, and Origin is underway for 2010. History making for Origin, history making for sports television, the first time in 3D globally. You're seeing it. If in fact you are in possession of a 3D set, that's Perry on the second play. Wayman took the first. And they're out to the 20-metre line, the Blues, for Waterhouse. Sent off and then exonerated at the back end of the pre-sequel to this match, perhaps, as Ennis takes a dart from dummy half. And we're going to see plenty of that tonight. Ennis, Ballon, I'm sure later in the match, Cronk and perhaps Gidley. As it goes down now, to be taken back by Darius Boyd. And he's banged down hard by the Blues, led by Waterhouse. And with support from Ennis, Thurston goes away to Folau. And Israel, 5 tries and 5 origins. Ball going away now to Sam Thaiday. Nobody in the forward brigade has been in better form than slamming Sam in 2010 now for Nate Miles. A member of a back row, including himself and Sam Thaiday and Ashley Harrison, that are unbeaten as a trio at the back of the scrum since they came through in 2006. To the halfway line, the back end then of the first set for Queensland, and it's Lockyer who drives it down the ground. It's fielded back there by Jared Hayne, who puts the shoulder into John Thurston. That'll test one of the shoulders anyway. Not of Hayne, but probably Thurston. And this was him in his new Nike boots and meeting Jonathan Thurston head on. The little bloke came out of it second best, but he bounced up. The North Queenslander, played again by Wayman. And now for Watmough, who drives off the legs. He'd rather be wider, doing the expansive stuff as a back rower. Now for Kumorley. Inside ball for Waterhouse. One of the Panthers in the game tonight. 35 away from the Queensland line to tackle number 5 now in the opening exchanges. And Kumorley high. Slater loses the ball. And Boyd clears up. Slater was the first of the ones to be really tested. And he spilled the ball.
And it was a wonderful kick off the boot of Brett Kumorley. Ball just floated, landing in exactly the right position. The chasers arrived en masse. Jamie Lyon, Kurt Gidley. Very, very rare, but it's tough for a fullback to stand, especially in these conditions. Unfortunately, Darius Boyd got back there to save the situation, but it will be a New South Wales speed. You do not get a better attacking opportunity than this one.
So the Blues, with their 5/8, Jamie Lyon, 9 metres away from the line. Playing it for Tamana Tahu. And now for Waterhouse. Tamana, unbeaten in Origin at ANZ. And away it goes now for Kumorley to drift across, and he picks up an inside runner in Watmough. And Anthony from Manly plays the ball. They're just 5 metres away for Wayman, but he's hit by Thurston. And one of the forwards, Matthew Scott, coming in over the top. Michael Ennis then, back for Brett Kumorley. Now to Gidley. Gidley away for Tahu. And he'll play the ball a couple of metres out from the line on tackle number 5. That's a bad pass, picked up well by Kumorley. He drills a kick in. Slater picks it up well. And Slater is tackled 11 out from his own line.
Great defence from Queensland. Good line speed. They get the first penalty of the game for a play the ball infringement. Not up quickly enough for the referees liking Michael Wayman. Nate Miles nailed Anthony Watmough. Jonathan Thurston got up quickly on the next one. And then Greg Inglis looked like he was in a little bit of trouble with Tamana Tahu getting on the outside, but he reeled him in.
Darren Lockyer taking the line finder. It's his 12th Origin. He's missed only one since his Origin debut in 1998. He equals Alan Langer and Brad Fittler tonight with this performance. Now for Ashley Harrison on the 40-metre line down his own end. And for Petro Civoniceva to get it to within about a metre of the halfway line. And it's played back for young Ballin, who of course won the premiership and scored the first try 2 years ago for Manly. Called in to replace Cameron Smith. Thurston goes short, back to Harrison. And Harrison will play it just inside there, but he's not going to play it. He's lost the ball and New South Wales come away. Almost out to the halfway with Tamana. And now for Kurt Gidley. In close attendance for a fullback. But more of these back three will be going in looking for work, because this is going to be very laborious and tiresome for the big men. Big men like Perry, who's picked up and thumped into the ground by Thaiday. Ennis then a dummy half. Now for Watmo, and he loses the ball. So the pattern has been set. There's going to be plenty of it, and here's Slater returning it. He'll play the ball 12 metres short of halfway. Thaiday asking for work and running into the back of a retiring Kurt Gidley before being put down by Michael Wayman. Together there with Josh Perry. Left side play for Thurston to go away. And now it's gone on to the number 3 for Queensland, and that is Greg Inglis playing left side.
Lost it.
He's lost the ball, so already we've seen several handling errors. We came here expecting it, and we haven't been let down. That's Jared Hayne.
Well, looking at both defences, Rabbits, they're really jamming up tight shoulder to shoulder, and this is just going to be stand and deliver this for 80 minutes tonight. There won't be many holes out there. You're going to have to take your knocks, take your hits, and just keep trying to advance the ball the best you can.
Inside ball from Ennis, went to Waterhouse, then to Watmo, now to Perry. And Perry was put down 15 metres into Queensland's territory. The match being beamed out to 90 countries around the globe tonight via the host broadcast of Channel 9. He said to play on, Tony Archer. There was quite a bit of a misunderstanding there from the players. And the kick is high and down the ground. Thurston can't clean it up. Hayne puts a hand on it. Archer wants to inspect this.
Well, on the surface it looks all right, and the Blues players are celebrating. I think it is Darius Boyd who comes up with a fumble, and I'm thinking it's a Queensland player who inadvertently kicks it back towards his own in goal. And Jared Hayne is the one on hand to pounce. Let's have a look at the onside. It's okay. Hayne and Tahu out here wide. Darius Boyd, the sole Queenslander, underneath. He drops it forward. It comes off Thurston. Hayne is onside. We've got our first try of Origin 2010.
Yeah, Jared Hayne has scored. Darius Boyd losing the ball. And then Jonathan Thurston, who was in front of him anyway, has basically kicked it back to an onside Jared Hayne.
Yeah, if it had been no try, which it will not be, it would have been a penalty their way anyway with Thurston offside. Green light.
So we have the first points on the board. And not surprisingly coming from the kick to a line of blue jumpers that remained onside. And Andrew Johns having a quick word to Jared Hayne. He stayed alert, he contested the jump. And back at ANZ Stadium, the Blues have scored first. Jared Hayne with those boots I was talking about, the Nikes, they're worn by Ronaldo and several superstars around the world. He's gone from the green iridescent, and this kick is there from Jamie Lyon. So the Manly number 6 has added 2 to Jared Hayne's 4. Wally Lewis on the sideline.
Well, just watching Darren Lockett talk to the Queensland team while they were waiting for the conversion to be taken, he had a pretty simple message to his players. We need a radical change of our game plan at the moment. We're not controlling the possession. It won't matter if we just take 2 or 3 rucks. Just kick the ball, try and get down to the other end of the field, and then regain some confidence.
It's gone out on the full. It's a penalty back at the middle of the halfway to New South Wales. There's a very big southeasterly coming from behind Queensland, and I'm sure that's aided that kick from Darren Lockyer.
Yeah, no doubt about that. It just kept going and going. Just back on that Keno replay, a wrap for Anthony Watmo, who actually put the kick up on the last tackle, which Darius Boyd put down. Second offload of the night for Michael Wayne. It finds its way to Josh Perry.
He'll play the ball then 12 metres into Queensland's area. 6-0 in favour of New South Wales. 6 that's probably worth 12 in these conditions that we're playing under tonight. 30 metres away from the Maroons line. It's come from Kamali and gone to Gidley. Gidley deciding safety is the better way, and he takes the tackle of Harrison. Now they go one pass in into the middle of the ground for Watmo, and Watmo tackled by Sivanasiva and Nate Miles. Now for Ennis, back to Kamali. Kamali goes short to Waterhouse, and it's a good tackle by Jonathan Thurston, but it's tackle number 5. Ennis then to Kamali, his kick, and coming out of the deep was Israel Folau.
I reckon that's a ploy that they'll try at some stage of the night, looking for Ben Craig, who's had a lot of success with the Dragons with that little dink kick across there. Just went a bit too far that time, and this man caught it. Israel Folau, who gets his second touch and to the 20.
So the 21-year-old Israel Folau plays it just outside the 20-metre line. 16 stone of him and 6'5" in the old language. Charge down, and another chance for the Blues, but Darius Boyd has put the fire out.
Well, Tamana Tanu thought he was the only man on earth for a moment there. He was the only one chasing the ricocheted ball, and he got a wicked bounce. You wouldn't believe on this soaking turf that the ball would bounce so high. Ennis with the charge down. Tahu is the only one there. It's Hayne. And the ball just goes straight over his head off the wet turf.
Sivanasiva then to play the ball in the middle of the ground on the 30-metre line. Balance pass up to Harrison. And Ashley Harrison, the lock forward, playing the ball on the 40-metre line now. Ballon again. Shortish passes away from dummy half for Thurston's kick. And Gidley takes it on the boots.
And that's good from Queensland. Even though Lockyer got charged down, he was kicking on tackle 2 or 3. And Thurston hasn't waited long to put his foot to the ball either. So they weren't deterred by the charge down, and they've realised what Wally Lewis said is 100% right. In conditions like this, you're just working for your first kick, for your next kick, and you do it as quickly as possible.
This is Cooper right in the middle of the ground. Brett Morris had his first touch of the night. On debut, here's Jared Hayne. He fended away from Sivanasiva, ran away from Thurston, tries to step inside Inglis. He does that, and then regains his feet to be tackled by Harrison. And the ball played just outside the Queensland 30-metre line. Here's Waterhouse with the ball, and he's held there by the front row forward Matthew Scott. 5 tackles gone again for the Blues. So again we go to the kick, and what result will they get this time? Kamali's kick down into Darius Boyd's corner. Tahu didn't get him the way he wanted. I think he was thinking of into touch with you, and Boyd plays the ball, and they've lost it again. But no, referee Archer calls a halt.
Well, this is interesting because Jared Hayne has hit the hand or the arm carrying the football. The referee has obviously ruled that he's touched the football, because otherwise, if it was on the ground, he'd have every right to dive on it and play on. Yep, just hit the ball. Good call.
Tony Archer and Shane Hayne. Archer for the 7th time at Origin. Hayne on his 5th occasion. This is Tonga inside the 20-metre line. They shared the duties last year with the 2-man referee, and the end result was 16 penalties to Queensland, 10 to the Blues on that final night at Suncorp. Now for Sivanasiva, shoulder taken by Watmo, and then it was Waterhouse and Ennis who made the tackle. Lockyer goes across, and Thaiday is met by the Blues reception committee. Craig Bellamy. Lockyer then kicking it down inside the 10-metre line. Brett Morris with work to do. Gidley's with him, so is Cooper, but no thought of passing, and rounded up by Tonga and Folau, who share that right side defence. Here's the ball coming out, and Israel has got the ball for Queensland, dropped by Matt Cooper. 20 metres out from the line, a chance for the Maroons. Thurston goes in, he finds Slater. And Slater trying to play the ball, he'll get a penalty. And so he should.
Well, I think it's a tough call, Rabbits, because the New South Wales players weren't sure whether or not Slater was going to get up and try and run away. Slater made a lunge to go again. And Hayne is saying, I called held, there's not much I can do about it. I don't think that Billy Slater thought he was held. Let's have a look at Queensland's attitude now. Do they go for goal or look for a try?
There was a try saver from Waterhouse. Billy Slater stepped out of that tackle. There was no one in front.
So the penalty taken with the tap. And Sivan Nasiva is picked up. And referee telling them to put him down. If they lifted a foot off the ground. Here's Ballon going in to Scott. And Scott is met by Wayman and Ennis, whose tackle count is already quite high. Ballon goes second man to Thurston. Thurston gets it over the top. And Darius Boyd will score. Boyd goes in to score his 4th Origin try.
And an absolute bit of brilliance here from Jonathan Thurston. Don't worry about the shoulders. He got the ball up nice and high and over the top after attracting defenders in. Great work here by Jonathan Thurston. He created something out of nothing. The New South Wales defence up and in. They looked like that enveloped him. Darius Boyd on his outside was unmarked. Going to the line, dummy inside, dummy outside, and then over the top of Hayne for a simple run for Boyd to get Queensland's first points.
Darius Boyd, the St George Illawarra fullback, playing in a familiar role on the wing. 22-year-old, playing his 6th Origin. Has worn the green and gold of Australia twice. Won a grand final with Brisbane in 06. And scoring his 4th Origin try after brilliantly done work by Thurston. There's Darius Boyd, the Dragons fullback, wearing a jumper that he's worn before at Origin level on 5 occasions. Tonight is his 6th Origin. A couple of test matches under his belt. Grand final win for Brisbane in 06. The Crusade from Brisbane on their feet.
When Jonathan Thurston was getting ready to take this conversion, they sent the farrier out to clean the mud off the bottom of the boots. He's looking to keep a great streak going. He's kicked 24 straight for the Cowboys this year. There was 2 before that in the Indigenous game. It actually stretches back to last year's 4 Nations. It was actually about 30 in a row, but 26 this season.
Jonathan Thurston from the North Queensland Cowboys. 22 out, 5 in. He's nailed it beautifully. Thurston puts the cream on the Boyd try.
One of the dangers of playing Tamana Tahu right centre and Jared Hayne on the right wing is that they're out of position, and you can do all the training you like, but until they actually run some offence at you under game conditions, you're not sure whether or not you get your decision making right. And on this occasion they both went racing in and left an open run for Darius Boyd to the try line. They'll get better the longer the game goes, but it's hurt them already.
So Matthew Scott playing the ball inside the 20-metre line. And this is Thaiday, who's been prominent with carries. In fact, that's his 5th carry. Sam Thaiday.
And that's a great one to back it up too from Petro Civoniceva. 10 tough metres, and they kick early again off the boot of Lockyer into space.
So Lockyer's kick going down into the corner for Kurt Gidley. He's going to hope it goes. Yes, it has. It was in 2 minds just for a little while.
It's still great tactics by Queensland, and they'll be relieved that they're level again on the scoreboard. When you get behind in conditions like this, you don't want to get too rattled. They've levelled it up, and now that kicking early in the tackle count from Lockyer and Thurston will come into its own.
Well, they've been together at 6 and 7 in the last 15 Origins, Thurston and Lockyer.
Well, to be honest, it's the difference between the 2 sides, and that's why so much pressure is on Kamali and Jamie Lyon tonight to provide the leadership and direction that Thurston and Lockyer give the Queensland side.
This might be interesting. Brett White is out there now for the Blues. He comes into the game at the 17th minute. Of course, he was involved in that incident in the back end of Origin 3 last year with Steve Price, who's still out injured this year, and undoubtedly they're going to miss his services. His kick into the air, and Boyd goes high. Hayne went up. Did he have any eyes for the ball? It makes no difference now. It's played by Boyd, 10 out from his own line.
And that will continue to be a New South Wales tactic, put the ball up high. But we've already seen one mistake from Darius Boyd and Billy Slater tonight. And what you see throughout the season, you won't see too many more as Slater goes out of dummy half, picks up a couple of metres, still inside his own 20.
Picked up and tackled by Waterhouse. Lockyer for Thaiday. Thaiday running it at Kamali, and Kamali was equal to the task. He got some help from Matt Cooper. Out from dummy half, Ballon finding Miles. Nate Miles will play the ball there. And from Ballon, it's gone back, and it's with Lockyer on his left boot again. And down for Gidley, just tracking backwards. Brett Morris is with him, but he's running away from him and heading away for Cooper over on the left side. 35 or 37 metres away from his own line. The captain, here's Brett Morris, angling it up towards the 40-metre line. Shillington has gone on for Sivanasiva. Look at Shillington, 17.5 stone of him. 111 kilos, standing at about 6'5". Now for Anthony Watmo. He's up towards halfway. He shovels it out. That's not a knock-on. In fact, it's picked up by White, who hasn't seen a lot of football this year. Now Ennis off his right boot down into the corner. Slater, and he'll watch it go dribbling over that dead ball line at the southern end.
Again, that's the right play. Unlucky that the ball rolls out the back of the end goal, but the sooner you kick in this game, the better it's going to be for your team. If you're just fumbling around on halfway, you're just waiting for a mistake to occur and hand possession back to the opposition.
Ray Shillington takes it forward. There's some talk about a hybrid game in the future. I think we should start it tonight. We've got the yellow shirts out there tonight, Alan Langer and Andrew Johns. I reckon they should be allowed to get involved. Should be 14 against 14 tonight out there. That'd be something.
Here's Miles. Yeah, there's Andrew running the instructions for Craig Bellamy, and Alfie Langer doing likewise for Mal Meninga. And they've coughed up the ball here. Ball has come free. Nate Miles. Leroy Lars is out there now for the Blues. Michael Wayman, you would have seen a shot of him coming into his first rest period.
You talk about the passion of Origin, and even former players maintain their passion at this time of year. To get Alan Langer and Andrew Johns, two of the greatest of all time, to be out there running water bottles and rags for fellow teammates in their state's colours, just shows you how much these players love this level of football.
But the Blues with a chance, and there's a bat on there by Cooper. Morris couldn't clean it up, and the Queenslanders jump at the chance. And it was Lockyer who fell on the ball. And right on the halfway line, it's played out there by Willie Tonga. Now for Matthew Scott, and he brings it back towards centre ground. 42 metres away from the Blues line. Played to Ballon, Ballon to Slater. Slater has Thaiday with him. He's put down on the 30-metre line. Tackled effectively by Craig. Now to Thurston, Thurston to Harrison. Harrison looks around to unload, but he takes it to ground eventually. Under the tackle there of Tamana Tahu and Trent Waterhouse. Right side now for Thurston. He goes to the air, goes to Morris's corner. Folau was coming down the ground, but Morris was brilliant.
Well, as soon as that fifth tackle arm was raised by the referee, the Queenslanders pointed towards Folau's wing. Morris went back into his in goal, set himself and said to himself, well, here it comes, baby. I've been waiting all week for this. Me and Israel one-on-one. And the young Dragon got it done.
This is Leroy Lars. That was heavy confrontation there. I think with Matthew Scott more than Ashley Harrison, who made the tackle. Now Tamana goes into the middle of the ruck and takes a run.
I've got to say Queensland look better than New South Wales at this stage. New South Wales pretty sluggish onto the ball. Queensland look a lot better organised and a lot more precision in their work.
I think they've got a bit more depth in their play as well, Gus. I know tonight's a night where you go straight, not sideways, but even when they bring the ball out on the advantage line, they're coming off a longer run and getting more momentum, more drive.
Played by Darius Boyd then, and Ballon gives it to Thurston. Thurston gives it to Harrison. Harrison is held on the halfway line. 96 tackles the Blues, 91 the Maroons. Lockyer inside ball for Shillington, and Shillington will play the ball 5 or 6 metres into New South Wales territory for Nate Miles. Again continues his premiership form. He takes it up to the 30-metre line. The last then for Queensland. Lockyer back. Slater catch pass. Then to Tonga. Taken by Kamali. Ball to ground. I thought Folau knocked on. Yes, he did. And it'll be turnover to New South Wales.
Interesting ploy there by the Queenslanders. On the previous set of 6, they bombed deep for Folau to chase. This time Morris went back and they decided to run it on tackle 5 and very nearly caught New South Wales out. So again, Queensland thinking about their football. They definitely look better.
One more error made by Queensland than New South Wales. 5-4 the count, 6-all the score. And where are we? We're at the 24th minute of the first half of the Harvey Norman Origin 1 in the new series, and Trent Waterhouse, for a big man, did well. He'll play the ball back on his 30-metre line. Waterhouse, the 11. Ennis it is, going on to Watmough. And Watmough just swerving as he made his approach to the defence line. Mal Meninga, appointed coach of Queensland in 06, so he got on the hurdy-gurdy at the right time, didn't he, the big fella? Here's Brett White from Cooma. As it goes away to Kamali, charged down by the Maroons. Watmough hurries back, Scott is with him, and Watmough takes the tackle of the Queenslander.
Big effort there from the number 8 from Queensland. He came up with the charge down and then he followed on 30 metres, made the tackle. Charge down didn't work out for them possession-wise, but pressure on Kamali. Big fella pinned the ears back.
That came from a really ordinary set of 6 by the Blues, and even now they're struggling to get over the advantage line. You just don't like the look of them at the moment. Queensland are really revved up and doing it better.
This is Ben Creagh. Right on the halfway line as it goes through Gidley, and it finds White again. He's tackled jointly by Miles and Ballon. Gidley out from dummy half, puts it on the right foot, puts it down into the corner, and it should go dead, and it does, in front of Darius Boyd. What a night for Drama Sunday is, with CSI returning for its brand new season. The anticipated new season of CSI starts this Sunday night right after Underbelly. The Shillington carries the ball in jumper number 15 out to the 30-metre line. Kamali with blood just there on the temple, if you like, right side. I was thinking of Jamal Idris. He was 5 when Kamali debuted in first grade. Can you believe it? And we'll see Idris sometime in this match tonight. When will Bellamy press the button? Here's Scott.
See, these right side defenders for the Blues are jamming in quickly. I can see Thurston putting one in behind them soon. Or it's dangerous practice racing up really quick in this weather.
So Queensland with Thurston going on to his captain, and Lockyer kicks it across the ground. Folau in a contest over there, but it's gone into touch.
Well, it's not what Darren Lockyer intended, but it almost got a decent result. Thought that Israel Folau may have tried to catch that on the full. Might have bounced a little bit further away than what it appeared. Straight across. Well, I think he probably could have if he had attacked it, but he allowed it to bounce. Brett Morris waited back to see what was going to happen, and he was just going to claim Israel once he caught it, who in fact tried to kick it immediately.
Peter, from this scrum win, I think New South Wales should just hit one up and kick it again. Just kick it as soon as you can. Get on the front foot a little bit, because they're not making the metres with their yardage runs.
I'll tell you one thing, Gus. Playing against Wally Lewis, that's exactly what he would have done.
Kick it now. Kick it now.
I remember that they took a 20-metre tap, the restart, and he kicked it before a tackle was made.
So the 16 is Neville Costigan, waiting to take his place in combat out there. There's Ben Creagh, taken by Big Shillington, and Miles jumping on the top of the pile. Played by Ben Creagh. Now it's with Brett White. He's on the 30-metre line. So the Blues for the kick. This time from Jamie Lyon. Down towards Slater. There's a contest for the ball. Batted down. Comes down to Ashley Harrison, but it's a penalty to New South Wales.
And I'm sure Ashley Harrison didn't know whether or not it was touched by a Queenslander or a New South Wales Blue, but he wasn't going to take the odds to it. He grabbed it and took off. And it'll be interesting to see here who in fact got the touch on it.
I think Slater.
Slater was the one coming forward, attacking the ball. Let's have a look. Up he goes.
Well, I don't know after watching that.
See, Luke Lewis got his hand above it, and Ashley Harrison took off for the prize. And the Blues may be fortunate here to get a penalty under those circumstances. I'm not sure that Billy the Kid got his Onka Paringas on it.
That time was Jamie Lyon who put the kick up. Brett Camorley's had some running repairs out there to get that nick under the eye, next to the eye cupboard. I can't know it. His hand and arm is down underneath where that ball has made contact. Yeah. Billy blows up. Ashley Harrison may have actually had a decent view of that and thought, well, I haven't seen him touch it, my man. I will pick it up and go.
Well, replays are showing that it came off a blue hand. Here's the kick for goal from Jamie Lyon, and there's a further 2 points. So the Blues lead 8-6 as we take a break. Jamal. I would imagine waiting nervously. Although people tell me he's cool and calm. I'll be ready when you're ready, Coach. Could well be what he's thinking. There's the kick-off as we welcome you back. Following the penalty goal kicked by Jamie Lyon, and we're fairly convinced it was a penalty that New South Wales were lucky to get. And the replay seemed to confirm that. Leroy Lars trying to play the ball, but Shillington had his arm wedged in there. His Canberra teammate played just inside the 20-metre line then. Costigan has gone on, and the Blues try to scamper through with Michael Ennis now. As I said, the game going around the globe through 90 countries. Origin 1 tonight. Australia Network is beaming it through their network, Orbit Showtime, and Setanta Africa. All part of the global coverage of Origin. Gidley lays it on the ground, and Cray was there, luckily, to clean it up for the Blues.
Yeah, the man he was passing the ball to actually got his legs caught up with another Queenslander. Otherwise, he might have been in half a hole. This is a nice kick.
Yeah, he's got to bring it back, Billy. He'll get back, and Luke Lewis is right on top of him. In the goal mouth. Camera from behind the dead ball line, picking it up. Nice and close, personal. Here's Boyd.
Apart from plenty of enthusiasm out there, one thing Luke Lewis will bring to the New South Wales team is some footwork. They don't have a whole lot of that in their forward pack. In these conditions, he could be very effective as Israel Folau attracts plenty of defenders 15 out from his own line.
Nate Miles put down just outside the 20-metre line. So 8-6 the score in favour of the home side, enjoying the 2 matches in this series at ANZ. Thurston, and drops it on the right foot after he darted a few more metres. It's a big kick, and Gidley is back on his line.
Well, again, that's sensational play from Jonathan Thurston. They didn't do particularly well. He was kicking from around his own 30. He saw the line rush up, dummied the kick, picked up an extra 10 metres running the ball, and then booted at 50.
Here is Tahu. He played the ball inside the 40-metre line then. So it's a real slog. And Jared Hayne got the first try for New South. He lost that ball. He lost that ball trying to get up with some urgency.
It was good work by Tahu and Hayne, 2 speed men, realising their forwards were slow over the advantage line, decided to come in and add a bit of leg speed to their work, and both made good metres, but unfortunately Hayne has bobbled this at the end of the run, has he? He gets up, struggling to his feet, and there's the bobble.
Friday night football on 9. First up at 7:30 is the Dragons and the Eels, and then the Tigers and the Warriors. That's from 7:30 Friday. It's a simultaneous telecast up and down the eastern seaboard. Dragons Eels followed by Tigers Warriors on Friday.
Gee, that was a forward pass back in the end to Billy Slater. The referees were all trying to get out of the way and didn't see it.
This is Shillington with the ball now. Ballon looking across towards Lockyer, but he's gone to Harrison, who's gone to Lockyer. Lockyer was looking for Thaiday, but Sam had already gone. And Lockyer will play the ball right in the middle of the ground, 30 metres out. Siva with a charge. 25 away from the Blues line. And now for Ballon. Then for Thurston. Thurston to Harrison. Harrison trying to duck under the tackle there. But Jamie Lyon and Tamana Tahu make the tackle. Thurston then off the outside edge. Picked up by Slater. Slater looks to have gone in and scored. A wonderful kick from Thurston and a great chase from Billy Slater.
Yeah, he's getting congratulated. He's done a wonderful job here picking this difficult ball up. We wondered about the lack of combination with Cameron Smith pulling out. Normally it's Cameron Smith sliding the little one through for Billy Slater. They scored the first try from one of those in last year's series. Well, Jonathan Thurston, the little banana kicked on the outside of his foot, found the turf, and Billy Slater at speed picked it up short of the line, but momentum definitely takes him over. If the ball is grounded, it's a try. And it is.
Yeah, there's still momentum when he grounds the ball, so Slater has picked up yet another try, his 8th try in Origin football.
And again, the combination of these great players, that's brilliant.
Queensland punch back to the lead. 10-8 now. Slater's NRL and club game and Origin record is quite stunning, really. Well, here is the young man who a couple of years ago won every award you could possibly dream of winning, and I'm talking internationally in our game of rugby league. He was the Golden Boot winner, he was the Dally M winner, he was everything. He was fullback of the year, rep player of the year, you name it. Billy Slater a couple of years ago won those awards. One of the true superstars of the game, as this man is, Thurston. That was Slater's, here's the farrier as Peter called him, working on the boots. Was reshotting, which is a term that comes from the thoroughbred industry, which this commentary team is pretty well versed in at losing. Here's Thurston, and he converts the Billy Slater try. Billy Slater / Jonathan Thurston try. Wally Lewis.
Boys, it's remarkable how much positive play there is in the game plan of both teams out there this evening. I would have thought there that the long-term plan would have been just to simply get a restart. There's the Keno replay just showing what a huge hole there was up the middle. A restart probably would have been the option I would have gone for, but there's just too much positive play that's found 4 more points for Queensland.
So Darius Boyd looks up at the referee, says, what are we doing? What are we doing? And he says, play on. So Boyd takes the play out to the 20-metre line, up his own end of the park. At NRL and Origin levels, Slater just scored his 117th try from 175 games. So he's scoring the try at the rate of about 65%. This ball is rolling down for Hayne, running over towards Gidley, but there won't be any passing. There'll be no adventure down there. Not at this stage of the game anyway.
Less than 4 minutes left on the clock now before half-time, and the Maroons have got to the front. Now, in the last 4 years of their domination, they've been extremely dominant in the second halves of those matches. They've scored something like 120 points to New South Wales 60-odd in the second halves of those games, and the battle is now really uphill for the Blues to climb back into this.
Here's Lewis, who came on to replace his Penrith clubmate, Trent Waterhouse. Kamali's had that That head bandage. TAB Sportsbet. The Blues out from $1.75 to $2.15, and Queensland in from $2.05 to $1.65. People betting live on the match have brought the Queenslanders in now to a commanding favourite. TAB Sportsbet offering you betting live on the run in Origin 1, as they do on Friday nights. And the big fella feeling much more content now, one would imagine.
He looks pretty confident to me.
So Ballon to Lockyer to Thaiday, inside ball for Slater. Here he goes again, the number one, away to Tonga, and Tonga is pulled down a metre out from the line. Good tackle, Brett Morris. It's gone back from Thaiday, gone to Lockyer, gone to Thurston, puts another kick in. Here comes Tubble, Boyd, back to Inglis, and Greg Inglis goes for the line. Did he get the ball down in time? Shane Hayne wants to look at it. The Blues are high-fiving the defender. This will be interesting.
Well, it's brilliant play by the Maroons on the right-hand side of the field and then back to the left. And this would be a crushing blow for New South Wales hopes. He's got players left over, but he decides to kick Thurston. In the greasy conditions, he trusted the kick over the pass. Boyd catches back into Inglis. Inglis one-on-one with Tahu, turns him up, over. Does he get the ball down? You would have to think Jared Hayne's got a handle under it. Blues fighting to save one, and they do. They do. So many Origins have won on tries saved rather than tries scored. Put that one down to Tahu, and Hayne coming up with a beauty.
Mate, you're still checking it.
We're hearing
Still checking it, mate.
that they're still checking it. I can't believe they're taking that long.
Well, I think they're checking for the restart, Rabbits. They'll try to work out whether or not it's a 20-metre tap or whether or not his foot goes out in the field of play before it hits the corner post. Now, because the arm's there, I think they'll rule that Inglis's foot goes into touch, therefore it's a scrum to New South Wales, or being the last tackle, whether or not it's just given a turnover.
No try. And it's a changeover, so he's gone into touch.
Yeah, they said he's gone into touch because it was last tackle. That will be a turn-up. Brilliant football. That's the danger of Billy Slater and his combination with the men up front. Gee whiz, Rabbits, Queensland looks so good.
The understanding of Thaiday, the combination of Thaiday and Slater, I mean, they've obviously worked very hard in the hours that have passed since Cameron Smith pulled out. It's as though Thaiday and Thurston have been doing it for quite some time with Billy Slater, working on a combo. But isn't he a wonderful player, Slater? Here's Gidley, taken on the halfway line. 12-8 is the score in favour of the Queensland Maroons. 4 series winners in a row, looking for a 5-peat. And here's Slater. Kamali lines him up and they put him on the turf. Down at the southern end, Thaiday doesn't like the treatment from Kamali on Slater. Thaiday dummies left, runs right. Taken over there by Crayon Cooper. The Dragons defending together on the New South Wales left side. Folau inside the 30-metre line. Ballon down on one knee, got the ball away. Costigan, that might have been banged back there by the Blues. It'll be 6 more to Folau. It's a very good call by Shane Hayne. Now from Lockyer to Thurston. He floats it out to Boyd. Boyd is taken just outside the 30-metre line by Jared Hayne. Hayne is showing tonight that he's not just an attacking machine. He's got some wonderful defence in him, and he's getting great support. He'd have a great deal of confidence in Tamana Tahu working on his inside, the Parramatta connection. Played by Sivana Siva, it's gone to Lockyer. Lockyer back then for Slater, menacingly. Tonga, and there's Lahuta at the end of the first half. It is 12-8 at half-time in favour of the defending champions, Queensland. 2 tries, Boyd and Slater. And for New South Wales, the one try scored by Jared Hayne. So we knew what it was going to be when the rains came today. It was going to be a slog, kick early, kick deep, work for mistakes. But this fellow in the one jumper, Slater, is playing dry weather football often tonight. Here's Brad Fittler with Andrew Johns.
How are the conditions out there, mate? Mate, it's a bog in the middle between the 40s. Probably need more support, more dummy half running, more angles, but real arm wrestling. Is that how we win in the second half? I think so. These games are won by hard work. That's what we've got to do. Have you got Alfie covered? I definitely haven't.
Brad Fittler and Andrew Johns, two of the greats of rugby league, particularly Origin and Test football. Coming up at half-time, Peter Sterling joined by Wendell Saylor, Phil Gould, Paul Vorton to relive the first half highlights, plus the latest prices from TAB Sportsbet. Then Wally Lewis and Brad Fittler chime in from the sideline for their expert comments. The Blues go back to the sheds. That's coming up next. All of that on the home of the big-time sport, Channel 9. And welcome back to ANZ Stadium prior to the resumption of play here in Origin 1 of the Harvey Norman Series for 2010. Queensland leading by 4 points. The Blues have not lost the first game in Sydney since 1998, and they've never lost the first game when played here at the Olympic Stadium. But Darren Lockyer and the Queenslanders are doing something about changing that history. The skipper takes them back. At halftime, Queensland have led 31 times for 26 victories. New South Wales 44 for 32. Queensland have come from behind at halftime 11 times to win. The Blues have done it only 5. You were talking about the points, Gus, in the second half. Queensland have scored, this is in the last 10, they've scored 121 to New South Wales' 65. They come back to the second half, the defending champions, proud champions, and now the Blues. I was talking to somebody from Harvey Norman today, telling me about 3D TV, which you're watching for the first time if you have got it.
Yep.
Globally, it's the first time a sports event has been televised in 3D, and it's happening on Channel 9. If you do buy a 3D TV, you can still watch it as a normal TV. Did you know that?
Yeah, there's a switch. You can watch it normal TV in HD, the high definition, or you just hit a switch and it goes across and you can watch it in 3D. So you're not just buying a 3D television, you're buying a TV that has access to 3D as well.
Thank God you're here. That's all I can say to you is thank God you're here. I was thinking of parting with 2,800. He's on. Jamal is on. Cooper is off, I'm told. So the boy from Foster, his mum and dad, are in the crowd, nervously waiting for the entry into Origin on debut for the Canterbury player. That's his dad.
It's one of the big things about Origin that a lot of people don't see is how it affects the families. The love and support for this boy to get him to this level, and now they're sitting there proud as punch as he steps out in sky blue for the first time. He's had a lot of media. He's a fairly laid-back character. He's only a kid. But he might be the one. He might be the one that turns it for the Blues. It's a funny, funny game.
Dad Jerry and Mum Alana, they get to see their kid at the Origin level.
Which means the only player to still come into the action, Dave Taylor. The Queensland team as we get underway off the boot of Kurt Gedley.
So Shellington on the first carry back. And Leroy Lars, he missed in his attempt to tackle. It was left to Watmough and Cray. And now for Sivanasiva. He'll play the ball just inside the 30-metre line. The 30th anniversary year of Origin. Opening here tonight at the Olympic Stadium on a very damp night. With Sivanasiva carrying the ball forward. First time we played Origin here at ANZ, it was a very wet night in '99. Now it goes back for Lockyer. And Lockyer's kick going down. and looking for the line and finding it. Deep in Blues territory.
Well, just watch that set of 6. You'll see it a number of times during the second half as the Queenslanders methodically work out of their zone and Lockyer or Thurston puts it down in the corners to make New South Wales go the distance if they want to level this game up.
And I need to apologise to Cooper Cronk as well, who wasn't used by Mal Meninga in the first 40 minutes, so he's kept a couple up his sleeve for later in this game. So fatigue starts to set in. So Queensland well placed on the scoreboard and on the bench.
So Jamie Lyon giving Jamal Idris his first touch of the ball, and the young giant does very well.
Attaboy.
To the 20-metre line he carried it. And now for Luke Lewis to get on the back of it.
Get into him, son.
So Watmough zigging and zagging. The traction as Matt Cooper getting some assistance to put the wet weather gear on. Brad on the sideline. Brad Fittler.
Oh, boys, news on Matt Cooper. Bruised hip. He'll only be used if necessary.
And the kick has gone dead down at the northern end. So a 20-metre restart for the Maroons.
If the Blues are to get back on this, it's going to be on the back of their halves. I think Kamali, Lyon and fullback Kurt Gidley have got to combine a little bit better and more often than they did in that first 40 minutes. By comparison, Thurston, Lockyer and Slater have been very busy.
Played by Sam Thaiday, and this is Willie Tonga, and Tonga will play the ball 12 metres on his side of halfway. Played back for Ballin to go to a short side for Folau. And Israel, who's had a busy night, he's had a good night. He'll play the ball on the halfway line. Then for Lockyer to go in. Oh! Shillington might have been lucky that Brett White missed him with that one. It's gone to Lockyer, then to Thurston, across the face of Harrison, finding Inglis, who finds Boyd and Lyon in a contest. Just 15 metres out from the line. Played by Darius Boyd, Harrison, Thurston, Lockyer. Lockyer's got Costigan running, but his flankers are going fast. Was Folau taken out? Morris marks the ball.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt that we changed directions. We see Brett White ricochet off the side. David Shillington. And that's the defensive concern on that side, Phil.
Yeah, it was Jared Hayne again going in on a man he didn't need to defend to. Didn't trust his centre, and Darius Boyd a free run down the sideline. It's always the problem when you play outside backs out of position. It's the argument whether or not Haynes should be on the wing or back there at fullback, but then what do you do with Gidley? And it's a dilemma for the Blues.
Fourth tackle then for New South Wales, trailing by 4. Kamali on the halfway line, centre of the ground. He's wrapped up by the Maroons. 4 minutes of the second half gone, and tackle 5 for Jamie Lyon to go high and deep. Long down to Slater, who decides to use Israel Folau. And he will play the ball just outside his own 20-metre line.
He's exploded back into form, Israel Folau. Missed a fair bit of football early in the season through injury as then tried to go down that left side again. But that afternoon in Melbourne when he tore apart the Storm, his old club, it's fantastic. He's continued it on and he's been heavily involved tonight.
Greg Inglis is underneath that tackle of Leroy Lars and Brett White. Behind Shillington to Lockyer. His pass looked marginal to Thaiday. But we won't have a committee meeting worrying about it. Now Thaiday has got a penalty for Queensland. New South Wales dislodging the ball. It looks like Watmough.
And that's crucial too. That's tackle 5. You're waiting to get the ball back from their kick, and he gets himself tangled up here.
Well, the call came from referee Archer in the pocket telling the other referee, the main referee, Hayne, that it was kicked. I don't think it was kicked deliberately from Anthony Watmough, but they just need to be tough enough to come up with the necessary defence now. They do so on Sivan Asiva.
30 out from the Blues line. Ben Cray and Michael Ennis doing the defence. Thaiday, Thurston's pass. That was close to Shillington. 22 out, middle of the ground, Lockyer left side. The angle provided by Harrison. Lockyer stays left side. He's got the ball again. Runners around him, including this man, Slater. Slater goes back to Thurston, and Thurston, he had to be tackled, and he was by Kumali. Thaiday, right side for Slater, short for Tonga, and taken on that right shoulder by Brett Morris. 5 gone for the Maroons. As we shoot from that corner post camera again, and Thurston's kick is charged down. Boyd goes in and retrieves. 6 more tackles.
Well, it came off Anthony Watmoe, and he's claiming that he did not play out the football, but by going forward and turning his back, it's deemed to have been that way anyway. So another set of 6, 30 metres out, right in front of the post of New South Wales. Sivanasiva winds it up again.
Just what you didn't need to give Queensland. Another set. It's hard to believe that Watmoe did play at that ball.
No, well, he didn't.
Here's Thaiday with the ball now. 11 away from the line.
Here's trouble, Revitz.
Ballard. Now for Thurston, and he goes out to Big Shillington for Lockyer to go in and score. Darren Lockyer has scored. That's his 9th Origin try.
You could feel that. You just look from above at the big wide line that Queensland put up here, and how hesitant the New South Wales defenders came forward. Right from the play the ball, Peter, you could see they were in trouble.
Well, that was a 6-a-game call, and he did put his arms up, Anthony Watmoe, but again, you've got to be mentally tough enough to cover that. Great work there from Shillington to hold the football up to a flying Darren Lockyer, and they've got first points in the second half, and that could be crucial.
Cameron Smith alongside Mal Meninga in the coach's box. Michael Hagan flanking the head coach. And Darren Lockyer, at 33 years of age, plays his 31st Origin, his 12th series. And can he find a try in the big matches, in the big occasions? Nobody sniffs them out better. There he is, the try scorer, Darren Lockyer, as we welcome you back and we thank you for watching us tonight on the Harvey Norman State of Origin 1. Darren Lockyer at 33, 51 test matches, 4 grand finals, won them all. And that was his 9th Origin try.
And it seems if he's not setting up tries in Origin that he's scoring them. Slice through there, the only series he missed was the 2008 due to a knee reconstruction. And Jonathan Thurston striking the ball absolutely beautifully. I hope I don't put the mock on him with that description, but he just looks confident every time he steps up. He just looks as though he knows it's going between the sticks.
Haven't really had a chance to look up for vacant seats. This stadium has attracted a big crowd, and given the weather we've had, that surprises me, but it's over 70,000 for sure. Here's Thurston then. 20 in, 15 out, and he's missed it. Sterlo's done it again.
Sorry, mate. Sorry, JT.
Wally Lewis sideline.
Well, that try really did remind me of one I saw last weekend when the West Tigers chalked one up against the Newcastle Knights. A simple straightening piece of play. There it was on the Keno replay as the offload comes to Lockyer, but the New South Wales defence out wide was thrown into confusion simply by a second phase piece of play.
Tell you what, on second look as well on the Keno replay, the work from David Shillington, it was excellent. It was great awareness, keeping 2 hands free to pass the football, the initial contact, that opened the hole up.
Now the Blues have got to be careful here. Defence is the key for them. They don't want to get too raggedy trying to chase this 8-point lead, because defensively they're going to be put under a lot of pressure here by a rampaging Maroons. They spell blood in the water, the Maroons, and they'll come after you quickly.
Lockyer's kick down to the goalposts, and Gidley brings it back. But of course the confidence and the enthusiasm in that chase, typified by the Maroons on the back of another try. This is Luke Lewis shoveling away from Ashley Harrison, but running into Greg Inglis it was. Now a run for Jamal, and he tries to spiral out of the tackle of Harrison, but he is unable to do so. Inglis got involved there and might have just injured himself a little bit. This is Leroy Lars. About 8 metres short of halfway. Played back to Ennis. Now for Jamie Lyon. He goes short. He's looking for Jared Hayne. He'll find Jared Hayne. And then he throws a speculator way over the top of Idris's head.
And again, and I don't want to harp on this, the difference in confidence between Queenslanders and New South Wales players at this time. Jared Hayne in the club game, if he was playing for Parramatta, he would have scooped upon this, lined up those 3 defenders at the back and stepped his way towards the post, thinking he could score the try. In Origin, he grabs the ball and thinks, who can I pass it to? And that's the difference about confidence in the critical moments.
Well, a penalty here. It was going to be ruled that Petro Simasiva had just lost the ball. But again, a call from the pocket referee has said that there was an infringement from New South Wales. Got to say, Rabs, not easy to throw the ball over the head of Idris.
You're right.
Well, but it is, Peter, isn't it? I mean, and that's the mentality of Origin. If he was playing for Parramatta, if that was on a Sunday afternoon at Parramatta Stadium, he runs through, gathers that ball, puts a step on someone, chip kicks again and scores the try. Tonight, his first instinct is to throw it to someone else.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He knows that he's had a brain explosion. That was the first thing that was evident. I couldn't believe it when he threw it. I thought he'd at least take somebody on. That's his nature. Here's Costigan playing the ball, and Lockyer goes in for Thaiday. That line is the 30-metre line. Blues into the ground. Brett White was the tackler. Lockyer on the blind side. And now here's Slater. Slater looking for an opening. As Lewis came up with Lyon, the gap closed. Lockyer back for Ballon. And the Manly hooker doing a competent job. I thought Cronk might have been out there by now, but Matt's going well. The youngster from Kingaroy. And this is marked in goal by Gidley. It'll go back out to the 20-metre line.
Darren Lockyer is toying with them. He's really toying them. There was one play in that set of 6 where he came down the right-hand blind side, but he knew he wanted to punish them on the far side of the field. And it was just that Slater couldn't get the ball back to the left quickly enough to save New South Wales. Otherwise, they were gone. Look for that play a little bit later.
Well, you talk about big men. David Taylor is about to come into the game. 118 kilos of him will amble out there in a moment. In the old language, 18.5 stone. As Creagh unloads out the back. The ball comes out the back again. And the referee's indicated tackle nullification. So we're back to the 0. And played by Kamali, given by Ennis. Not a good pass. Lyon with the ball to Lewis. And Luke Lewis swerves away from Costigan. Just got past Thaiday and was claimed by Lockyer. Ennis again, generating something short side. Kamali and passing in pressure to Creagh. So it's a knock on, a scrum. It'll be loose head and feed for Queensland.
Instead of those kind of plays, I'd like to see a little bit more mix up there and get a player like Lewis coming back on the angle. We saw a hit of his footwork there in that previous run. I guess with Matt Cooper's injury too, it takes away the flexibility that Craig Bellamy might have been looking at. I would imagine now that the players will just play in the positions that they're at. I don't know if he was going to change it at all, but I can't see how Hayne could go to fullback now, Gidley go to anywhere else. He just does not have that available to him now with Cooper out of the game.
So Israel Folau tackled on the 30-metre line, and Queensland with this 8-point lead. It hasn't been this comfortable for either side until they went to that 8-point lead, and here is a scrum about to be packed. David Shillington at the centre of it.
Well, as far as we've been saying, the Blues aren't in this contest at the moment. Origin's a very funny game. There's still 25, 26 minutes to go. Queensland have come up with an error, and if somehow the Blues can manufacture something here, they're back in the game. Anything can happen. They can't give up.
Here's Creagh taken by Taylor, who's out there now, replacing Ashley Harrison. Watmough up to the 30-metre line, and 3 of the Queenslanders put him away. Shillington has been very, very busy in both departments of our game. Here's Wayman, 20 out, middle ground. Blues running to the northern end as Ennis runs away. Lyon runs an angle, then he gets a good ball to Gidley. Gidley is 1.5 metres out from the line. It's a lovely ball. It's a great play. Here's Kamali jostling his way to get a ball to Ennis onto Lyon. Lyon away for Luke Lewis. Lewis looks at the corner, but he's tackled 5 metres away from it. Ennis then. Wayman runs a decoy. Lyon puts a little kick in, and they go up. The ball is loose for the Blues. Watmo improves the position, but Tony Archer wants to look at it.
Yeah, a bit of doubt here. Might have been a knock-on by a New South Wales jumper. So it was Waterhouse out there who may have got a touch. New South Wales players don't think so. Comes off a play the ball error from Queensland in their own territory. And this is the little kick I was talking about in the first half. In between the corner post and the sideline. Waterhouse goes up.
Well, it's probably gone backwards anyway. Even if a Blue has touched it, it's gone backwards. You know, that's the first time in this game that the halves have combined to put the fullback away. And now they're looking for a touch here or there. I think the ball's gone backwards off the top of that heap, and Watmo will pick it up and race around and score. For mine, it's fair enough.
We're looking at those hands and looking at that contest. The only way he could disallow it would be if it went forward off Blue hands. And it's a try. The Blues have scored. It's 16-12. I notice up in the banner brigade at the back. They work hard, these banner makers. Watmo the try. Anthony Watmo. It's his first try. The 26-year-old Manly back rower, Anthony Watmo, has scored in his 4th state of origin, his first try at origin level. 7 test matches, wonderful record, and his Manly teammate, Jamie Lyon, converts. It is game on again.
And hopefully for New South Wales captain and fullback Kurt Gidley, the penny drops now. He's got to put himself into the game and become more involved. That's a Billy Slater type angle. Back through the play, the ball off one of the halves. They haven't done that for 4 years, the Blues. And it results at the end of the set of 6 on the Keno replay in a try that gets them back into the contest. Kurt Gidley's the key here. He's got to find a way to get them working for him up front and get him into space the way that Billy Slater does for the Maroons.
For a moment. Oh, here's a problem unless he really hurries. He got there in time, and Shane Haynes said not backwards against or with Kurt Gidley.
Wow.
Now Watmo. Just for a moment I thought Slater had changed jumpers. Such was the play. Look at Tamana Tahu. Straight over the top of Darren Lockyer. 10 metres from halfway. Brett White now joins in. Darren trying to take Tamana head on.
No better confidence builder in the game than scoring points as Brett Kamali kicks through the line again on the 4th tackle. Gets it in behind Darius Boyd, and now the chase. The energy is with the team that has just scored.
Waterhouse and Lyon doing the cleaning up back there inside the Queensland 20-metre line. Thurston gives it, and this is Inglis. Really, I understand it's probably not a night for superstars like Inglis, but he's had little opportunity. And this is Ballin to the 30-metre line. Halfway through this set for them now. As it goes to David Taylor, and he winds it up, but Michael Wayman was there with Trent Waterhouse and Brett White.
Don't go encouraging Greg Inglis, mate. Just let him go to sleep out there. Don't get him excited.
Here's Miles, taken low and high and got a ball away. It might prove very valuable. Lockyer and Thurston have combined. Thurston and Slater combined behind it. And Slater will play the ball. 28 away from the line. As it goes from Ballon to Thurston, he puts a little kick over looking for Darius Boyd. But it's beaten everybody over to the touchline.
And they're at the end of the field they wanted to be after some sparkling lead-up play. The Nate Miles offload was a beauty. And it was continued on by the likes of Lockyer and Thurston. Slater getting involved. That's what they're looking for, something to run on to.
Just wait till you see this, the actual police footage used in court. Just watching that replay there. That was a great pass by Miles, wasn't it? It really was. And then the combination of Lockyer, Thurston, Slater. Yeah, you'll see the actual police footage used in court to convict some of our biggest crims ever. It's really sensational. Don't miss the incredible major news series, Australian Drug Lords. Australian Drug Lords, premiering on Tuesday at 9 o'clock on 9. And it's with Anthony Watmoe now, 22 away from his own line, as Gidley goes to Perry.
And this is where we expected the game to be. And it's taken us an hour, but there's 2 points of difference. There's 20 minutes left on the clock, and this origin, like all true origins, will be decided at the back end of the game. It's where Queensland excel. It's whether or not the Blues can turn that tide tonight.
So the kick again deep and rolling end on end, and Darius Boyd happy to watch it go. Took a fair while to make up its mind, but it eventually went.
Unbelievable the amount of times tonight that the ball has just gone that half a metre too long. Sometimes on the end of 40, 50-metre kicks. No joy for some of the kickers tonight, as Matt Scott has worked hard. Makes a 25 out from the restart. And Nate Miles, as he does so well, puts his hand up to take on some more work.
The Blues have only come, as I said, at half-time, from behind at half-time to win on 5 occasions, compared with Queensland 11 occasions. Here is Slater trying to find a passage, but Josh Perry was there to tie him up with Luke Lewis.
My God, he's dangerous.
Here's Scott. Well, I said this probably about a year or 2 years ago. I've seen a lot of them. I don't know that I've seen one better than him. Here is Thurston again, across the face, and he picks up Inglis, who goes to Boyd. Boyd, chased by Lyon, gets it back to Inglis. Oh, the sleeping giant is back. I woke him up, I'm sorry.
You woke him up. You woke him up. He was over there just having a peaceful night doing nothing, and you woke him up.
The Barraville bomber.
I think Jonathan Thurston might have given him a little bit of a nudge as well. Look at this great play from Jonathan Thurston. Outside Darren Lockyer, holds it up, waits for the defence to commit. That was Jamal Idris. So he went across the face of him. Ball eventually onto Darius Boyd. He summed it up. Would have thought, been tempted to kick. But Greg Inglis got himself into a great position. A very, very important conversion coming up. The last one from Jonathan Thurston hitting the post. This one to put them more than a converted try in front.
And again, they go down Jared Haynes' wing. And, you know, when you go into these big games and you go to sleep at night and put the head on the pillow and you're worried about something, you can bet your life the opposition will find you out. And with Jared Hayne out of position on that right wing, it was only a matter of time before they picked him off again. The Queenslanders know, they knew where they were going. Hayne should have been up there and belting Inglis as soon as he received the ball. But you just haven't got that experience playing in that position. It's as simple as that.
9 Origin tries for Greg Inglis. His 11th Origin outing. Wonderful player. Considered by many to be the best player in the game. And blowing a little kiss then to the Maroon, the brave Maroon supporters housed down at the southern end. Thurston, though, again the generator. Boyd doing a very good job. Jonathan just adjusts the headgear. He's about 5 metres in from touch on the eastern side. There it goes. He doesn't put as much draw on it. It just goes bang. Straight over the black dot. Wally Lewis sideline.
And boys, I'm sure our Keno replay will show that A great pass is only as good as the angle that the runner takes. Thurston drifting across the field. Just have a look at the angle. Inglis puts himself into a hole, no defenders, and once again great positioning by the Queensland winger Darius Boyd. Inglis staying alive, but if it wasn't for Inglis's angle on that occasion, it wouldn't have been so effective for Queensland.
Well, I guess it can be pointed out Darius Boyd playing out of position when it comes to his club, but have a look through his first grade career, he's still actually played more games on the wing than he has at fullback in the time he's been in the top grade.
There's Nate Miles playing the ball. And that's David Taylor from South Sydney. Tackle just inside the 30-metre line. St George Illawarra, the club with most representation at 6. Now they're just outside the 30-metre line. Ennis making the tackle with Luke Lewis, and a run for Matthew Scott. To the middle of the ground, he's about 5 metres from halfway. And Cronk is on in 14. Lockyer drives it down the ground. He's looking for the dead ball line and finding it. 22 plays 14, so we're back to that 8-point break again.
We ran a masterclass a few weeks ago on the Footy Show with Billy Slater, the Queensland fullback, and he told us that he'd been playing with Cooper Cronk since the age of 14. And now tonight they both represent Queensland together, and you can bet your life these two Melbourne Storm boys, these two Queenslanders will conjure up something before full time.
Luke Lewis on the 30-metre line, and Lyon goes over for Jamal Idris, just on Cronk. Of course, he's one of the few players, like Brett Morris tonight, who has played in the green and gold before the state. Wayman lost the ball, but it went back, and Jared Hayne is with the ball now. The Blues, they were scratching their way out of trouble. They got to 2. Now they're back to 8. That's Waterhouse on the back of a really heavy confrontation.
Well, again, if they can be next to score, they take it down to the wire. And that's got to be their assignment at the moment. Defend well, get an opportunity, nail it, and get themselves back on the scoreboard.
Slater will play the ball. 10 out from his own goal line or try line. Here's Folau. Friday night, St George Illawarra take on the Eels. That's your Friday night 7:30 game, followed by West Tigers and the New Zealand Warriors. And you'll see them in that order simultaneously up and down the East Coast. So Queensland then approaching halfway, with Cronk making a half break, and then a good tackle by Michael Wayman. Lockyer kicking on halfway, drilling it down. Gidley's back inside his 10, and Hayne is getting back there quickly to be with him. Oh, Thurston's taken the ball off him one-on-one, given it to Sam Thaiday, and Thaiday scores for Queensland. Well, are they going to examine, were there more than one in the tackle?
Well, again, this is confidence and aggression at the critical moment in the game. Like a machine, they work it out from halfway. Lockyer kicks it downfield. The chase is feverish and aggressive. And halfback on Gidley, bang. Right, now, in my rule book, that's play on.
That's a try, yeah, look.
In my rule book, that's play on.
Just to explain to some people who may not know the rule in rugby league, if the ball is stripped and there are 2 defenders involved, then they will be penalised. As far as we're concerned, that can sometimes be ridiculous in the fact that there's no responsibility on the ball carrier. Jonathan Thurston takes his one-on-one despite the late involvement from Greg Inglis. The damage had already been done. It may well be taken off Queensland.
It's a try. It's a try.
It should be a try.
It is a try. It's got to be a try. You can't take that off him.
I mean,
first man in, steals the ball, off to a teammate. You can't take that off him.
What a play that man is developing into. Sam Thaiday, man of the match in the test against New Zealand. It is a try. Benefit of the doubt, no doubt there. No doubt now on the scoreboard.
Bill Harrigan and Paul Simpkins, the video judges tonight. 26-14, 67 minutes gone. And you would think a bit of common sense applied there with the rule interpretation. It's a crazy, crazy rule. I hate it. But somebody showed some common sense and discretion.
I actually interviewed one of the first grade referees at a luncheon at Guyamea the other day, Jared Maxwell. I said, what is the worst rule in the book? Which one do you hate the most? He said, the stripping rule. He said, we would interpret it differently if it was up to us. And I think very wisely there, Bill Harrigan and Paul Simpkins have applied some common sense, because that was deserved of a try. And Queensland is now really turning the screws on the Blues. And already they start to look to game 2 and how they're going to stop this dominance by the Maroons.
Thurston from right in front. And a further 2 goes on to the Queensland total. Wally Lewis sideline.
And guys, just having a look at the replay, I got the opinion that Jonathan Thurston, his sole objective when he went for this ball was to simply try and snatch it off the ball carrier. He just seemed to attack it, made sure that he grabbed it early, and I've got to say that decision could have gone either way, quite truthfully. The way that the rulings have been over the last couple of years, it can go any way.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I think that's exactly right. As Sam Friday shrugs off a couple of tackles from the restart. Jonathan Thurston played at that football because he knows that players carrying it these days don't think it's going to be stripped because they'll get the penalty. Well, Jonathan Thurston, he went in, he zeroed in on the football, got it, and then got the just rewards.
The Penrith pair of Waterhouse and Lewis putting a heavy shot on Scott. And Cooper Cronk cleans up a dummy half. Almost on the halfway line, but Queensland out to a 14-point lead as Lockyer again drives it deep, and this time it goes into touch.
Well, there it is again. Queensland, they're a machine. This is a wonderful, wonderful era that they're passing through. There's the coach, Mal Meninga, who's enjoying every minute of this. But when you keep this combination together for so long, and these people are so passionate about the maroon jumper, they have developed themselves into a really awesome outfit. And what you saw there was a repeat of what we've seen already a dozen times tonight.
And Jonathan Thurston saying to the crowd, come on, get behind us even more. I think they needed much egging on. And he may not play any further role in this game, but I want to pay tribute to the performance tonight of Matt Ballon as well. Cooper Cronk is out there, may well finish the game, but Ballon came into this side under enormous pressure, replacing Cameron Smith, who played 18 straight. Well, that man there on screen, a job well done from him, did everything expected of him. And he's going to be part of a victorious team, his first game at this level.
Well, I'm glad you said that, Pete, because Matty Ballon was not only asked to replace a number 9, he was asked to replace probably the most valuable number 9 and possibly the most valuable player in the game. I said possibly. But here's Jared Hayne now. Up towards halfway, got a ball away to Jamie Lyon. And Jamal Idris scampers into dummy half. And then Kamali puts a little kick over the top. Lewis is looking for it, but Lockyer's got the ball. And Darren completing a fine captain's knock here again. 33 years of age and 31 origins and 51 test matches behind him.
He's been brilliant. He and Thurston just extraordinary. I mean, the big men up front have got to rumble up and get the yards and make the defence, but what these two men do off the back of it is just, it's brilliant.
Costigan from Papua New Guinea originally. He's got his job done in Origin. Here's Matthew Scott putting it down. Kamali goes back, Thurston tackles him, the ball is loose, it's knocked on by Jared Hayne, but it's knocked on first. I believe the call is from Tony Archer.
Well, even with that play there, if Jonathan Thurston doesn't throw the short ball and throws it out the back, they'd have probably had 4 on 2, and New South Wales were in trouble again. That right-hand defence for the Blues has got some problems. He's got the opportunity to go behind Scott and decides to go straight to him. He had Lockyer out the back and plenty to beat. See, Lockyer's out the back. He's got 2 outside of him and 2 defenders in front of him. Lockyer would have carved them up there.
And just to other halfbacks watching Jonathan Thurston, just seeing that pass there, the soft hands, the way that he shapes to maybe pass long, and if he did, it would be a bullet-like pass. But if you're bringing somebody on short on your outside or even on a different angled run, you have to deliver the ball softly, and that's what he is so good at.
Edris. And an interrupted passage there. Nate Miles got on his road. He used him as a bit of a shield for a while. Now it's gone over to Kamali. He goes short to Josh Perry. And they try to lumber it up through the middle. Pass is bad. Idris cleans it up. And they put him to ground. Costigan and Scott on the halfway line it is. Gidley. Inside ball for Watmough, and Watmough taken from behind by David Taylor, the big 17. Nate Miles, and here's a penalty going to the Blues. So 8 and a quarter minutes remaining. 4 penalties plays, 3 penalties. Queensland just leading the penalty count.
Why would we take a tap there and just run it up?
Play by Wayman. Ennis to Gidley, and Gidley drifting, going backwards in fact. Have. Now it's out to Tahu, and he'll play the ball inside the 20-metre line. And now it's over to Gidley again. He goes short into Leroy Lyles. And Tom will play the ball on the 10-metre line. As Gidley steps off his right foot, looks on his inside. The runner was on his other side. And 5 tackles gone for the Blues as Ennis gets it away. Kamali spins it out. Then from Hayne, they've gone out to Lyon. He gets it back to Idris. He scores on Deboo. Jamal Idris, I think, has scored on Deboo. They're going to have a look at the corner post, and did Jamie Lyon have the ball when that post went?
Well, it's great work running the football in the last there, especially from Jamie Lyon here, who got on the outside but was claimed, then was able to pop one back into Jamal Idris, and that close to the line, he's going to be unstoppable. Darius Boyd is doing his best. He's well inside, I think, from that angle. We'll probably have a look at where his legs are in relation to the sideline. Nah, that'll be fine. And Jamal Idris into Greg Inglis, under Greg Inglis, gets the ball down. Grounding is fine. And as far as I could see, Jamie Lyon was fine.
No problem at all. No problem at all. There's Mum. That's a big thrill. 10 points the difference, 7 minutes left on the clock. Improbable, but not impossible, Rabbits.
There's the Keno replay. Darius Boyd doing his best to get rid of Jamie Lyon, but he was able to get rid of it, Jamie, just in time.
The decoy run from here, from the man going through on the outside of the passer, that held the defence up as well. It was big Trent Waterhouse who did a job there also.
Noticed Hayne playing a fullback role in that try. He'd come well infield. He was the one that selected Lyon, who's obviously moved to the centre, and Idris back to the wing. But Hayne went in and parked himself in the fullback role and threw the nice cutout pass. Takes it in a 5'8" position where fullbacks play these days. He created the out ball for Lyon, and Lyon was able to get Idris back on the inside. Maybe that's what Craig Bellamy is thinking for game 2. He's giving it a look.
So the kick from Jamie Lyon from way out on the eastern extremity, unsuccessful. Jamal Idris brings New South Wales back to a 10-point margin, 28-18, with 6 minutes to go, and it's marked by Gidley and given to Leroy Lyles. And he ran it straight at Nate Miles, and Thaiday went in. Scott was there as well. They're back on their own 20-metre line. Here's Wayman. And Wayman refusing to go down, but now the shoulder of Siva Nasiva has its effect.
Well, they would love a penalty, New South Wales. They can't just afford to go set for set with Queensland. They'll get beaten, they'll run out of time. Need to try and force a penalty, quick play, the balls get out, put some pressure on the defence. Greg Kamali goes to the shorter side, gets the ball knocked down by Jonathan Thurston. That should be 6 again. Will be a knock on now, Thurston.
He's playing at it, you know that. Do you want to stay there? Yeah.
So the scrum 40 metres out, 68,753. So they just fell short of 70,000. I thought that the crowd was up there above it, but 68,753.
You know, all day with the rain that we've had in Sydney, and even when we got here tonight and had a look at the ground, how wet it was, I thought, gee whiz, how are they going to come up with points this evening? 2 great sides with defensive capabilities. But you look up and there's 46 points in the game. The modern day footballers are just brilliant at conjuring up tries.
Well, that's what the Blues needed. They've got the penalty. They've got the ball quickly over the sideline. They need to score in this set of 6, or if they can force one more after that, give themselves a chance in the last couple of minutes as Leroy Lars put on his backside.
Nailed him. Got the shoulder down under the rib cage and drove him into the ground. Here's Wayman to the 20-metre line. Queensland's end of the ground. 1 change for the Blues left and 2 for Queensland. Here's Kamali, and Gidley is taken by Lockyer, anticipating the play. Then Kamali gets it away for Watmo. And Anthony Watmo is able to get the ball. Oh, Kamali wasn't watching what's going on, and now the ball to ground. Lockyer got a touch on it. Kamali has come back with the ball. He'll play it 9 metres out from the line. Ennis goes over. Gidley looks for an opening. Gidley is tackled 2 metres out from the line. 28 plays 18. Queensland in front as Ennis puts a kick in. Cronk is after it, takes it dead.
Well, I was sure somewhere through that there was a New South Wales player offside.
Yeah.
Kamali throws a pass, and then before that play dies, he's already organising what he's going to do back to the other side of the field, and Watmo throws the ball out the back. Now it hits Kamali, and Ennis is in front of him, dives at the ball, but he's offside.
Well, he must have been ruled that he didn't touch it.
Well, he did. Oh, I think he did anyway, but that's extraordinary.
I think you find that's what he ruled. He ruled that he didn't touch it. Here's Hayne, giving it to Wayman. Wayman runs straight at Cooper Cronk and gets the old elbow up in a don't argue for Cronk. And he'll play the ball, Michael. Back for Ennis to go. Back on the inside for Leroy Lars, who's made some strong charges in this second half particularly. Ennis. Now for Gidley, back for Kamali, and Kamali tried to go through. He got up and passed and gave it to Ennis, who gave it to Cray, and they're 10 metres out from the line. Queensland reassembling their defensive line urgently. Watmo, and he goes short to Leroy Lars, and Thurston upends the big man. Ennis again behind Wayman. Thaiday comes out of the line. Gidley not tackled according to the referee. Kamali goes to Cray. Cray comes towards Thaiday, and Thurston, he puts a kick in. Played out by Inglis, who dives on the ball behind him.
Well, that's crazy play. That wasn't the last tackle. What was Ben Cray thinking in trying to kick the football there?
Boy,
that's pressure. That's pressure. You see it's happened so often in New South Wales sides. They frustrate themselves into things like that. 10 points down, 3 minutes left on the clock. He thinks, I've got to do something desperate.
It's Willie Tonga under there. Kamali to the forefront. And the last is here for Queensland now. 35 away from their own line as Lockyer sends the ball down precisely to Hayne. And Hayne is outside his 30-metre line. But he has surrendered in the tackle, and Nate Miles racks up another one alongside his name. Now for Brett Morris. 40 sets they've had, Queensland, completed 30, which is good in the conditions like these. New South Wales have had 36 uses for 29 completions.
So the one thing I don't want New South Wales to get criticised tonight for is their energy and their passion. I mean, they really have tried hard. And they haven't been great with their execution, and their play doesn't look terrific, but they have tried hard physically and emotionally. It's just that they're up against a good side that at the moment are a bit too good for them.
Kamali. Now Gidley, and he puts a kick in. Ben Cray's after it, and I think he knocked on. I think you'll find Ben Cray is knocked on, and it'll be ruled, I would imagine, a scrum. The tackle will be on. But Gidley, with Hayne back at the #1 position, Gidley putting his stamp more on the game minute by minute, albeit too late, it would seem. Here's Cray. You would have thought he got a hand there on the ball at some stage.
Might have been his foot, Ray. I think there's it comes off his foot. I don't think he touched it, does he? Yeah. Oh, maybe. I don't know. And then he just lets it get to the line. I think he's... I don't know. I think it's come off his foot here. Does it touch his tan there? Perhaps it does. And then it lets it get to the line, and I think that part's okay. The answer's a pineapple, Rabbits.
Well, I thought he knocked it on, but it's gone as a try. A grounding, of course, was suspect, but they watched that again. And 28 plays 22. We are practically on full time. And the conversion attempt is to be taken. Ben Creagh scoring the New South Wales try. His 4th try at Origin level. And there's the kick. It is successful. 28 to 24.
And I doubt we'll get another kick off. The Queenslanders are just sauntering back to halfway. We count down 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. There'll be no more play tonight. The Blues are going to come up short. 7, 6, 5, 4. Time.
Origin 1 is over for 2010. The birthday celebrations will continue through the series. But now Queensland are on the precipice of a 5-peat. 28 to 24. They defeated New South Wales here tonight. They'll go before their home crowd in 3 weekends or 3 weeks' time. Probably with the Cameron Smiths of this world back in the unit. And on that occasion, a chance to make it 5 series in a row.